Hello, hello. So I am in Madrid at the FUE expert clinic. I have just had a consultation with Dr. Couto, or Kuto, not sure how you pronounce it specifically. But yeah, I have been on a waiting list. So what happens is, I emailed them like well over a year ago, like 18 months ago maybe even, and then asking for like a consultation. And then even then, they say, right, get back in touch with us in January, I think it was, to then get an appointment. So I did. So anyway, I have had the consultation now, and I'll obviously tell you a bit about it. Essentially, they have a waiting list for even the consultation of over a year. So it was a free consultation because, again, I tried to like find information online in the forums and different places as to what's involved. Like, is there a cost involved? Do you have to go in person or can it be online? Now, for me, I mean, Madrid's a beautiful city, so it's a holiday. So I've come for 3 nights. This is day 1. So £40 flights return, £20 each way, Ryanair, Manchester to Madrid. For the sake of that, and then making a trip of coming to Madrid, it's worth coming in person, because when I have had consultations in the past, to find out how many grafts you need to look at the situation, it's important. So for me, obviously having my hair transplant, I had the 3,500 grafts in Turkey at Elite Hair, and you know, like I said in my videos, I am happy in terms of it's a massive improvement on what it was. Could it be better? Yes. And that's kind of what I'm now exploring. And that's the interesting thing. So Dr. Kuto has essentially confirmed what I already kind of always thought, in that, yes, okay, there might be some doubles on this side here. What does that mean? It means you lower the hairline again slightly, so putting new hairs in front of those ones, and it's fine. So it's not like you have to remove anything, it's just lowering the hairline further, which is essentially what I have been discussing since even week 1 after my transplant. Could they have lowered it further, you know? Now obviously at the time, the reason they haven't done is because I've had 3,500 grafts, and some of that was on the crown, which, you know, go through my videos, I'm very happy with that. But could my hairline come down lower? Could they have put some in the temporal peaks? Now in Turkey, technician-led surgery, they're not skilled in that sense. So, you know, coming to one of the top surgeons in the world, FUE expert, Dr. Couto, regarded as probably the best in the world. If you haven't seen his YouTube videos, honestly, they're amazing. And for me, that's why I've come. So my consultation was a full hour, which is amazing, you know? It wasn't just in and out like I kind of thought it might be. It was scheduled for 10:15. They weren't ready, so they were slightly behind. I had to come over to this park where I am now just to wait for a little bit. So that was a little bit annoying, but, you know, understandable. And then, yeah, I went in. It's Dr. Couto and one of his team, who I think is training to be a surgeon. Both spoke brilliant English, and yeah, he was so chilled out. Like, Dr. Couto was such a chilled out guy. He looks at my form that you have to fill out with the receptionist. So he knew I was from the northwest of England. So he goes, "How far from Manchester?" And it turns out that he is the surgeon who did David Silva's hair transplant. So I don't know if that information was readily available anywhere, but it turns out he is the one. And David Silva's hair transplant, if you've not seen it, is definitely one of the best of all time. Like, it looks so good. And he started showing me the pictures, so you know, I've seen the proof that he did that surgery. And yeah, he just started kind of going into that. And then obviously we finally got onto me. It did feel like we were talking about David Silva for ages. And then, yeah, he looked at my hairs and he designed the hairline. So I will show you the pictures. So the first hairline he's designed, for me, was way too low. Like, I'm really surprised at what it looked like, you know? And then obviously he said it would be about 2,000 grafts. So straight away, I know the price. It's €5 per graft. Like, at the best surgeries in the world, the best clinics, they charge per graft. Some start from like €2.50 per graft. Like one in Belgium, I think the guy in Turkey maybe, who is like a proper surgeon in Turkey. But, you know, some of the others are charging €4.50, €5 a graft. So he did say for like a virgin transplant, it would be €4.50 a graft. But because I've had a transplant before, it's €5 a graft. So 50 cents more per graft, which does add up a few hundred pounds extra, but it's not massive in the grand scheme of things. So effectively, what I was saying before is that actually, by me having my hair transplant first in Turkey and getting the bulk of the grafts that I needed, you know, and having it lowered, was the cheaper option to take, you know what I mean? So if I do go here, I will have saved so much money. Obviously, I'll have had 2 transplants, which is the frustrating thing. Could it all have been done in one? Of course. But if I'd have come here for 1 transplant and let's say needed 3,500, 4,000 grafts, and he could have done better with those grafts or whatever, it would have been like 20,000 euros, something like that, just under. It's a crazy difference in price. So then effectively I've said, actually looking at it, it looks too low. You know, I'm happy with the peaks being where he's designed that, but like the hairline itself a bit too low. So he's drawn a second line, which is this one here. And for this one, I think he still said it was 1,600 grafts. So it's not exactly that much difference in price, but it does, you know, it does bring it down. But still, 1,600 grafts would be 8,000 euros. Now, as I said, that is still a hell of a lot of money. And actually, UK prices, you know, an £8,000 really is kind of a UK price, 8,000 to 10,000 maybe, for let's say 3,500, 4,000 grafts. But yeah, the best in the world. Dr. Couto is regarded as one of the best in the world. A lot of people say that from his videos. You know, if I was going to get 4,000 grafts, around that figure from him for a virgin transplant, you'd be looking still at 20,000 euros. So the price is crazy. But essentially, what I have done by going to Turkey first and then coming here, yes, the donor area on my right side in particular is not good. You know, it's over harvested. Effectively, I've lost out on what I can do there in terms of taking more grafts. But he said that he would take the grafts from the left side, you know, make it homogeneous, make it nice and, you know, blended in with the rest. So he's still happy, and he said that the left side actually is a very strong donor area. So that's obviously the downside of going to Turkey. Obviously the pro side was how much money I've saved. By getting that second transplant and having the hairline lowered further, the hairline would then have been designed and implanted by the best surgeon in the world, you know? So the grafts that are behind, which, yes, there are some doubles, that's not a bad thing because that adds density. I've tried to say this in a previous video and someone was like, nope, there's no benefits to having doubles. Well, actually, yeah, if you're then getting your hairline lowered again, those doubles further back add density, and that's fine. So he has said no need whatsoever for any removal of grafts, plug removal as it's known as. So I could now essentially get my hair finished off. That's the way to kind of look at it. Get the hairline lowered further, and the hairline, what I would be then seeing and having on show, would have been performed by arguably the best surgeon in the world, and for a much lower price than if I'd have gone there for the full surgery, if you know what I mean. It's getting a bit windy, so I do still have to move my hair because of the way that it is long and, you know, flaps about and stuff. So I am now obviously waiting to get a full quote in email and stuff, but I was in there for well over an hour. It was interesting. At one point I did bring up the fact that there isn't much case studies or, you know, like things on the forums or examples in the videos and things of, say, an English person going for a transplant. It's all, you know, like Spanish people, you know, Italian people or whatever. And obviously Spanish people have much darker hair. So that was one of the comments I'd seen where it said, oh, you know, it'd be good to see if he can perform well with an English person. And when I brought this up, he actually seems to, I actually think I offended him. And at one point, his technician, his fellow doctor, he took his hat off, and Dr. Kuto pulled a hair out of this guy's head and literally handed it to me and said, look, compare it to yours. Yours is probably thicker than his. So I think I did offend him there. And when I tried to, essentially say, like, you know, why is there nothing written on there? He started like Googling things and showing me things. So I definitely think I offended him. But he did make the point about why the website is not live, because he showed me the website. He can access the website on his end to then show me pictures and stuff. But like, it's not live for the general public because he's got such a long waiting list. So the fact that the waiting list is so long, the fact that he is regarded as the best in the world, you know, it does speak volumes for itself, doesn't it, really? So I guess for me now, it is a case of working out what I want to do, you know. I need to find out from them what the waiting list is now, if I did decide to go ahead. But in terms of where the location is, it's literally a 20-minute bus journey from Gran Via, like Centro, 150, you know, €1.50 on the bus. So it's very easy to get to. Nice park across the street as well, where I am here. So yeah, coming to Madrid for a transplant, I think would be a great thing, you know, so much cheaper than going to Turkey in terms of flights. And yeah, for those finishing touches. So the only reason, right, I wouldn't go back to Turkey, for example, to like where I went, Elite Hair, to get it lowered further. As I said, they're not the most skilled in terms of the temporal peaks, which is what they've obviously drawn, and then obviously that finishing hairline. Now, my hairline itself, I've had mixed reviews, mainly positive comments, but you know, a few people who have kind of nitpicked some of the doubles there, and on this side it's a bit thinner. So yeah, I definitely would want someone regarded as the best in the world to essentially finish that off. So I've now got an extra couple of days in Madrid to sightsee. I've actually been to Madrid before, and it is a very nice city, but you know, I can explore for the next couple of days, enjoy myself, and then yeah, basically consider my options. You know, there are other clinics regarded as being top in the world, you know, some of the top doctors, Belgium, Spain, there's a couple of others in Spain, Portugal, I think is supposed to be one of the best as well. And for me, it's one of those where I am leaning towards getting it lowered further, because it is something I'm going to regret not doing. And obviously by me making these videos, I'm seeing my hair a lot more. And even though I've kind of criticised people like Matt Dominus for seeking perfection, I think for me, and obviously my financial situation has changed a little bit. You know, I've been getting different jobs over these last couple of years, so I've earned more money in terms of my career. So I can now afford to spend that, say, €8,000. So I guess now it's just decision time.